presents The Big Story.
How the Daily News cracked the big story. An actual headline from the Chicago Daily News. It's the story of the $1 million scandal in state government that you read about. The one that involved the state auditor of Illinois. Behind this startling expose is the story of a newspaper man who staked his entire career on a suspicion that seemed incredible. It happened in Springfield, the capital of the state of Illinois. It was here in the Illinois State House that a reporter dared to tackle political dynamite. His name was George Thieme. He worked for the Chicago Daily News. To this man who risked his professional standing for the public good, the makers of Pall-Mall famous cigarettes are proud to present the big story of all. Big stories often start with a tip. This one came to the Chicago Daily News. It was about Harlow Kane, the state auditor of Illinois.
Harlow Kane padding his payroll. That's a little hard to believe.
Well, I'm sorry, George, but that's what my informant said. He gave me this list of names. Mostly war captains, political hacks. But each one allegedly on Kane's payroll and not doing a lick of work. Something to look into.
Clem, his man is independently wealthy. I've seen his home, his yacht, private planes. He has two of them. Now, if he wanted to buy influence, he'd buy it out of his own pocket. Why would he take a chance on robbing the public till? Especially now when he's being talked about the government.
Yeah, I know. I thought of all of that. But the fellow that gave me this tip is no crank. He's given his tips before, and all of them good.
That may be so. I bet my last dollar he's wrong about Harlow Kane.
$1, huh? Okay, you're on.
George Thieme is a reporter who believes in the direct approach. His first stop, the state auditor's office in Springfield, the place of the alleged irregularities.
4-star brandy. How about it, George?
Oh, thank you, Mother. It's too early in the day for me.
Okay, be an individualist. Seriously, whenever you're in Springfield, feel free to drop by and help yourself. I like to take care of the press boys. At my own expense, of course. Now, what can I do for you?
Oh, I hate to bother you on a matter like this, but as long as it takes about a minute.
Well, go ahead.
My editor wants to know if any of these people on board on your staff. Louise Gray?
No.
Nick Wilson?
No.
Ralph W. Halsey?
No. Are these the people supposed to be working for?
No, not working, just being paid, according to some wild tip we got. I didn't think there was anything to it.
Well, I'm glad you checked with me, George. Rumors like that can do a lot of damage.
Oh, they sure can. And one other thing. Just to keep my editor happy, could I have a copy of your payroll list?
Well, certainly. Miss Reynolds, would you ask Mr. Boxer to prepare a payroll list for George Thieme of the Chicago Daily News? Yes. Right away. Well, that's all there is to it, George. If you drop by the office tomorrow morning, I'll see that it's ready for you. Tomorrow morning, or afternoon, whichever is most convenient for you.
Well, it's only 11 a.m. now. What would it take so long to get a list out of the file?
Well, it's not quite as simple as all that. In an office like this, there are changes going on all the time. New people hired, old ones dropped. I want the list I give you to be complete up to the minute. That'll take several hours of clerical work.
Well, I didn't want to make things difficult for you, Howell.
Well, you have a right to, George. These are public records. As a newspaper man, you're entitled to see them in their completest possible form. Tomorrow, then? Tomorrow.
George Thieme was disturbed. In 17 years of reporting, he had heard several thousand variations on the stall and the runaround. What he had just heard sounded suspiciously like one of them. But perhaps it was just his imagination. He would settle the matter quickly by a visit to the treasurer's office a few blocks away. They would have a duplicate copy of the payroll list.
Ray? W. Halsey.
You see, we're the ones who issue the checks.
I see. Thank you.
Something wrong, Mr. Thiem?
Yes, Mr. Treasurer. Something's very wrong. Yes? George Thiem? All right, send him in. Well, got something, George?
No, I think you have. I just came from the treasurer's office. They have duplicate copy of your payroll list.
Oh, that. I know exactly what you're going to say. You're going to tell me that the names your editor gave you found on my payroll list.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I found them myself, right after you left. Here, Louise Gray, Ralph W. Halsey, Nick Wilson, or a dozen more.
Oh, well, you said these people were not on your staff.
Well, they were, not at the time you asked me. You'll see that each one of these names is marked terminated, fired. About a week ago, I learned that these people were getting paid for doing no work. Well, I put a quick stop to that. No taxpayers' money is going to be wasted during my term in office.
How come the treasurer didn't know about these changes?
Well, he will tomorrow morning. There's a memorandum in the mail for him right now.
I see. Sorry to have bothered you, Howell. Harlow Kane is a liar, Clem. He's the smoothest, glibest liar I ever saw. Had me completely fooled. Every one of these hacks are on his payroll list. Well, they were until this morning.
Okay, let's publish it.
Chance. What? That's the frustrating part about it. He's covered himself so beautifully. The thing that gets me is why? Why should a guy as rich and prominent as Kane have to stoop to petty graft? Unless... not. It's hardly possible. That's right. Well, this may sound a little wild, but let's suppose for a minute Kane is not a rich man.
Well, now that's ridiculous, because everybody knows.
How? How does everybody know? We ever seen his bank account, his income tax returns? No. We think he's rich because he's always told us.
Yeah, okay. Answer me this. If he's not a rich man, who pays for the yacht and the private planes?
Exactly. Who?
To check his theory, George Thiem went to Grant City, Illinois, Harlow Kane's hometown, where Kane often said he owned property worth millions.
Oh, no, madam. Our ad did not say a three-bedroom cape. It said a two-bedroom cape with an expansion attic. Won't you sit down? I see. You're welcome. Yes, sir. Can I help you?
Mr. Hillfire?
That's right.
I'm George Thiem, Chicago Daily News. I'd like to ask you some questions.
What about?
Well, I'm doing a story on Harlow Kane. Everybody I talk to in Granite City seems to think you know him best.
Why?
Well, so far I've gotten his school rented, his church affiliation, for his job, clubs, organizations. Now, maybe you can fill me in on some other points. His financial background.
Now, just a minute. You're wasting your time, mister. Harlow Kane used to be a neighbor of mine, and I'm not in the habit of talking about friends and neighbors to strangers. Okay?
I admire your loyalty, Mr. Farr, but are you sure Harlow Kane is worth it? Why isn't he? Mr. Farr, I'll be very honest with you. Harlow Kane lives in Springfield like a millionaire. He has a $75,000 home, a yacht, private planes, luxury suites at the top hotels. Now, if he can afford all these things legitimately, that's fine. But if there's anything fishy involved, we feel the taxpayers ought to know about it. We're doing this for the people of Illinois, Mr. Farr. We're doing this for you.
Wait a minute. I've known Harlow Kane for 32 years. And I know all about what he owns in property right down to the dollar.
But if he can afford all the luxuries that you mentioned, he must be a magician.
I don't believe in magic, Mr. Fame.
Neither do I. Now, may I be present in the fire room?